into a format that can capture and attract as many as reasonably possible. We will have Calypso tents, Calypso Fiesta, and Calypso Monarch Festival. There will be special mass competition for the Carnival King and Queens and special pan events for single pan, medium bands, and indeed large bands. As I understand it, Pan Trinbago has dubbed this year pan event theme Safely We Jamming Still, which is perfectly captured with what we are all trying to achieve. I am pleased to say that there will be a Cambule riot enactment and stick fight exhibition right here on our big stage. And of course, we will have the Dimanche Gras show on February the 27th, right here also at Carnival City. And indeed, we are going to have much, much more. News of this year's schedule, new to this year's schedule of events, we are planning an appreciation concert with the brass bands of the Protective Services of Trinidad and Tobago in concert right here. You know that we believe that the protective services, the medical services, and all the people, the frontline workers who have been toiling throughout this pandemic for us do need an appreciation for all that they have done. And in doing so, this is what we seek to do. It is our way of saying thank you. Thank you to the national security, the medical and public health for their hard work and sacrifices in keeping our people safe. With respect to the layout at Carnival City and the creation of safe zones, we are pleased to announce the introduction of our pods layout in our redesigned North Park space. The modified layout featured isolated pods where patrons can safely and responsibly gather while they attend the carnival activities here at Carnival City. Each pod is ideally located to maximize participation within the larger event and to facilitate a more controlled space for small clusters of persons. The final update I want to share with the public comes as a result of successful talks with the North Central Regional Health Authority. I am pleased to say that in conjunction with the NCRHA, we will offer all Carnival patrons, participants, practitioners, artists, and the like, 2 days of checkups. And this is basically mostly for the artists and, of course, the practitioners of Carnival. But it is not to say that other persons will not be included. We offer you 2 days of checkups and vaccination to ensure their health and wellness in readiness for a taste of Carnival 2022. As we see this as an investment in not just the preparedness for this year's event, but as part of our overall mandate to protect and take care of our whole community as we move forward in this pandemic era. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, we have a huge task ahead of us. We are prepared to show the world that as a nation, Trinidad and Tobago has the means, the agencies, the right attitudes to stage a taste of Carnival 2022. As we know it, Trinidad and Tobago is the land of Carnival. It is the home of Carnival. It is the home from which all our type of Carnival around the world came. And if they can do it, we can do it as well. To the people of this proud nation, I leave you with my every assurance that if we act responsibly and keep our minds open and never lose sight of what Carnival truly is and what it truly means to Trinidad and Tobago, we can use a Taste of Carnival 2022 as a stepping stone for Trinidad and Tobago's Carnival of the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you, and if you have any questions, I am willing to take them. Yes? Please tell us your name, and so we will... Yes, Melissa. Is it people are going... I'm not hearing you clearly. Could somebody give her a microphone or something, please? Because I cannot hear. Well, okay. No, there would be an entrance fee, not a rental fee. Well, the pods are going to be numbered, and in some cases we do have a very unique thing that we are doing here. We are naming the lanes between the pods and thing of artisans pass of Carnival, may it be masked men, pan men, calypsonians. So take for instance, if you come in, your ticket may send you to the Lord Kitchener's lane or the Lord Kitchener's pod, or maybe to the Mighty Spoiler, or and the like.
Morning, Terry and Brown Campbell, TTT News. Could you tell me what venues you all will be using and what capacity these venues will be able to
Well, we have
hold?
3 venues that was designated safe venues. Right where you are here at the Queen's Park Savannah, this is the actual epicenter of everything. Then we have the Queen's Hall. We are using outside. We are reconstructing the things outside. And we have the Naparima Bowl, which we are doing the same thing. The reason why we are using the outside and not the inside is because if you're inside, you could only hold a quarter of the capacity. And if you're doing it outdoors, you can hold half the capacity. And so that's the reason why we are using outdoors in these places. And you asked me about the capacity. Well, here at the Savannah, we can hold, on a normal time, the grandstand holds at least 6,500 persons. We are reconstructing it, as you can see now, so it will be holding not quite half of that we will put in here. And then the outside there in a standing kind of time, or when we have the North Park, it will hold the next 5,000 or thereabout. We are constructing it now where it can hold about 1,000, 2,000 some people.
Mr. Peters, in terms of a 3-pronged question, will events also be streamed for those who will not be able to attend? Secondly, in terms of exactly when are the events going to start? We know in prior discussions, a tentative date of February 4th was given. Will the NCC be sticking to that timeline?
Yes.
And in terms of the budget, what was the budget like for a Taste of Carnival 2022?
You'll have to ask me one of these questions at a time, because you asked me so many things, I don't know if my brain can collate all at one time. But let me try to answer you in terms of which one I should answer first? The schedule of events. Yes, it's going to start on the 4th with the first Calypso show being a virtual one. And after that, the Calypso tents are going to be in full, they're going to be open in full on the 11th. But yes, it's going to start on the 4th with the Calypso. What was your other question? The budget, the proposed budget will, so far, we're supposed to be about $30 million.
Terry and Brown
There's
Campbell.
another question from her. What was the other question? She asked me something else. She and all can't remember what she asked, but that's all right. Okay, that's because she asked so many. You'll remember it. Ask me it again after. That's fine. Anybody else here?
These are going to be safe zone. Could you verify that these are going to be safe zone events?
the only reason why these things are being kept here is because this is designated a safe zone and is designated for vaccinated persons only. All our events are for vaccinated persons only, and all the venues that they are going to be held at are designated safe zones.
Yes, Mr. Peters, I remembered the initial question. For the live events, are they also going to be streamed? So those who don't have the opportunity to attend, they'll be able to view as well?
Well, most of our events are going to be streamed. I don't know if they're going to be streamed live now or if it's going to be recorded to be streamed some other time. But you would appreciate the fact that they are all paid events. They are not free events at all. One or two might be. Oh, well, okay, well, that's what I meant by when I said that. Well, TTT is really our standard bearers for what we are doing here in terms of Carnival, a taste of Carnival. And I am told that it's also going to be on our platform. So if that would answer your question. Yeah? Anything else?
Mr. Peters, as it relates to private events and promoters having events as well, is the NCC collaborating or working with, or has any discussion taken place as it relates to that?
We have some discussions, but that would have to be my public relations department to answer that. I cannot answer that right now as to how far those discussions are, where those discussions are, or how far they went.
Good morning, Kimmery Fletcher, The Express.
Yes.
Considering that the attendance had dropped from last year, obviously because of the pandemic, what's your marketing strategy to ensure that these venues would be booked out, people will be coming, and we know that Monday and Tuesday are not public holidays.
No, they are not.
So, what is your marketing strategy to encourage persons to attend?
Well, we'll advertise in your papers too, I imagine, and we'll do the normal set of advertisement that we normally do to attract any kind of people to any kind of event that we are having. We use the social media and all the other platforms, the advertising platforms to do it.
Okay, and just to go back with the question with private persons, promoters, because I think there is some kind of miscommunication there. So persons are wondering, persons that hold private events, how do they go about? So could you give us a step-by-step idea? Do they come to NCC? What is the procedure? Have to host an event during this time?
Well, if people want to do private events, the NCC, we are not responsible for that at all.
No, I'm talking about events outside that you have carded.
I'm not quite understanding.
Yeah, so for example, there would be entertainers and there would be persons that would host carnival events on their own, concerts on their own.
Well, they would have to find the necessary, agency or whatever it takes to go to do that, just like we are doing. We have to go through all the Ministry of Health, we have to go through National Security, we have to do everything in order to do what we are doing here. And if they want to have private events on their own, I guess they will have to do the same thing.
Okay, so there's
if they want to have it in our space, then they would have to come to us, and because this is designated a safe space. Right. So they would have to come to us and operate under the condition that exists for us to participate, in order for them to participate in anything here. But if they want to do it privately, wherever they have to go, they will have to go through the necessary.
Right, and has anyone come forward yet to NCC to host events at your safe zone events?
Yes, we have a couple. That's what I'm saying, but my PR department will have to deal with that. I don't know where they are with that right now.
Okay, and just finally, just clarify what you said about the budget, to give us the exact figure. Just clarify that one time, please.
I just told you the budget.
Can you repeat it, please?
Either $30 or $25 million, I think it is right now. We haven't gotten the final thing for it as yet.
Can I get a little bit more detail about the checkups? And can I also get a bit more detail about how you're going to be managing the pods?
Well, the pods are going to be managed by security. We do have the security here. So once you are in your pod, that is your space. So once you come in here, let's take for instance, the pods can hold, because we can't hold any more than 10 persons at a time in any space. So the pods can hold 6 people in some of them, and we have bigger ones that can hold 9 persons. So we are well within the confines of what you have to do in terms of cluster of persons.
And how are you all managing that? Say someone needs to go to the bathroom and they'll come back.
No, well, of
are you
course,
managing
if
them not going to other parts?
Well, how we are going to manage that? Manage it by responsible people. And we'll have the security there to ensure that we don't have any more than 6 persons at a time in any one, or 9 at a time in any one. There are different ones. So if you're in your 9 section, then if they can't have more than 9 people at any time inside of there. And if you're in the 6th section, you can't have any more than 6 persons in there at a time. And we do have the security force to do that. As far as going to the bathroom and stuff, we have the bathroom in strategic locations, lots of them. So we wouldn't have any long lines or cluster of persons at any time going to any bathroom. Well, you can look outside there and see it without a diagram. It's right behind you. So if you want, when you finish, I could take you on a tour, and we can look. I could take the press on a tour and show you what's going on out there if you want, you know. We do have a layout that I don't have in front of me, but you are where we're talking about. So I can take you and show you. We'll organize a tour for the press.
And Mr. Peters, one final question.
Sure.
As it relates to time, we would have heard some artists, and you mentioned it earlier, we would have heard some artists say that the time frame was really short, etc. How is the NCC managing to execute and to really get these events off, given the limited time frame, and how well is that going?
Well, I can tell you that it's going well, and if you look out there for yourself, you can see how well it's going. But quite apart from that, how we manage to do all of that is because the NCC is a very active body that is here, that exists for no other reason than for the management of Carnival. We are the National Carnival Commission, and it means that we work all year, whether we are having Carnival or not. So we are always in a state of preparedness. So whenever they say that we are having whatever aspect of Carnival that we are having, we are ready to do it. Last year we had a virtual Carnival. This year we are having a semi-physical Carnival, albeit that is not all over the country as we are accustomed to, but it is more in line with the type of Carnival that people have. Let's take, for instance, in Brooklyn, it's only on the Parkway, and in England it's only a certain place, and in Miami it's a certain place. So, but that's not what we are accustomed to. But that is what we have to revert to now based on the circumstances that we have found ourselves in. So, to answer your question in the short way, is that we are always ready, and that's the reason why we can be so, we are always prepared, and that's the reason why we can be always ready. Do I have any more questions? Okay, if we don't have any more questions, ladies and gentlemen of the media, I would like to thank you very much for being here with us this morning, and if you want a tour, we are going to arrange it for you now, so you can follow us and the people who will take you around.
Folks, before you go, let me just bring a little more information, which the board, led by the chairman, since last September, chairman, we have been putting together plans for Carnival 2022, and we have submitted at least 4 options to the government, depending on for them to okay. 4 options we propose. And this option was not initially among them, but we had to refine this based on the call that we got. But we have been working very hard all of last year, planning for Carnival 2022, once we were given the permission to go ahead. So when we were given the go-ahead, it wasn't difficult to come up with this option that we have. Yeah? So, and we have submitted those to our line ministry, and of course to the cabinet for consideration. And this is the option and the go-ahead we got, Chairman, when? Last week? Last week. And we are well planning to execute in terms of infrastructure. And to your other question, our interest groups, PAN, MAS, and Carnival, and MAS, PAN, and Calypso, they too were planning options. So they have put together the options that they are working on based on what we will have gotten, led by our chairman. So that is how we're able to execute, along with the plans that NCC has, and so on. Yeah? One thing about the pods that I want to tell you, and I think we need to bring clarity, that was the chairman's brainchild. And it is extremely innovative, but it will not be like 6 people coming through the gate and you put you on a pod. You come with your crew of 6, and you are in that pod. You're free to go to the washroom and come back. You will have vendors. There'll be no congregating or eating by the vendors. You come back to your pod. Of course, you're free to bring your own food as usual and drink for your pod. And we're going to have compliance officers managing the venue to ensure that all the guidelines that are set out for a safe zone is adhered to by our patrons. And we will put out a layout in the media and the guidelines for it. So we want to honor the commitment, the safe zone guidelines at all 3 venues, so there will be management of all 3 venues for any event. And to your question about the venue in terms of private promoters, we have been approached and people have been making bookings. Of course, they must meet all the requirements of the safe zone, and they can have their event, but we will manage the facility to ensure that we keep the guidelines and honor the guidelines that will keep the place safe for our patrons as guidelines set out by the Ministry of Health. Chairman?
I know that we brought this thing to an end already, but just let me see. The pod, this whole idea about the pod is not unique to us, you know. This is something that, this is the template that people around the world are using in order for us or for them to have events during this whole thing, and it's managed well. So this is why we are using exactly this. So I'm showing the media this just in case you never see it before. This particular one happens to be from Canada. And I guess it's all because of the many places in the world that I go and see so much things. I bring it back to my country. So that's the reason why those things are there. Yeah? So we have to find ourselves in the same kind of scenario. Thank you. That's what I was just wanted to say.
So if there are no more questions, we want to thank the media very much for coming to cover our press conference this morning. And we want to invite you at home to stay tuned to the progress that we are making and our future press conference and information that we're going to share with Trinidad and Tobago. We invite Trinidad and Tobago to participate in all the activities for Carnival, whether virtually, wherever you are in the world or in Trinidad, or you come to the event at our 3 venues, Queen's Hall, Naparima Bowl, and the Savannah. And most importantly, A Taste of Carnival 2022 will be the platform on which we work and market Carnival 2023. Thanks very much. Have a good day. Chair, we are going on the... So we now invite you to do the site visit with us at this time.